This is Paul Levy from FringeReview, enjoying a bit of afternoon tea here in Brighton, but thinking Edinburgh Fringe. And the title of this video is Plan Bs and Problem Prevention. And I'm remembering back to pretty much every Edinburgh Fringe that I've been to wearing the hat as a reviewer and editor for FringeReview and bumping into people right at the start of the Fringe, even in what's called week 0, those days before the official beginning where shows preview and there are launches, press launches for venues and so on. And we run a workshop right at the start called How to Hit the Ground Running. And one of the saddest things for me is when somebody doesn't have a flyer to share, even though the Fringe might be starting the next day, because they're still waiting for them. And they'd done some deal that was cheaper and it was to get them sent. And it turns out in one case last year it was coming from China. I'm sure that's a great service most of the time, like anywhere else, but things can go wrong. And they had no idea where they were. And by not using a local printer in this case, they didn't really have anyone they could speak to. And that's the difficulty of looking at UK delivery even for printing services and overseas too, is that if you don't have a plan B, the problem is you arrive and your flyers aren't yet there. And some people have literally been waiting for a few days and they were supposed to have arrived a few days ago. So having a plan B is all about what do we do if the worst happens. It's about contacting those printers to ensure everything is on time. I would say it's good to have those printers locally simply because you can literally walk into a printer's to chase something up. And certainly to be phoning that printer, emailing that printer and getting assurances that there are no issues or problems. And in some cases where it's been really bad is actually the printer had no idea because somebody hadn't confirmed. And so something hadn't come through, the design and so on, and nothing had been confirmed. So that's all about problem prevention. There's a lot of printing that happens still at a paper-based Fringe like Edinburgh. And though there is also stuff, of course, online, and that's increasing, flyers are everything to a lot of people on the Royal Mile. And not having your flyers ready can be a disaster. In another case, the flyers were ready, but they had the wrong date on and that hadn't been checked. And so problem prevention even now is if you're about to send stuff off to printers is to double, triple check, get somebody else to proofread your flyer, make sure the edging is going to work and there's not going to be a bit of it missing, make sure that the text isn't a light colour on a light background so it can't be seen properly. Get all of that stuff right early on. Check with your venue, check that everything is okay, check with your accommodation, triple check that everything is known, try and get a voice call, a WhatsApp face-to-face call with all the key people. And remember to have that plan B. The plan B, of course, is it happens with shows, is what happens if one of your cast members is ill or can't come. Is anybody else able to be off the book by that day of your performance? Who is understudying for who? And it's often the case that that's not an easy thing to do, but who could step in at the last minute if you had to? What else might go wrong? Do you have a means of getting up to Edinburgh if it turned out your car or your van broke down? The van that you booked, the coach tickets that you booked, is everything printed out and ready? Is everything 100% sure? All the honest stuff that tends to get missed out. There's lots and lots of other ways of preventing problems too, which is press releases. Have they all been sent out? Did we forget anybody? It can be too late by the time that you've actually arrived. What are you taking with you? All your essential props, your set. Do you have a plan B? If you've said, well, we're going to buy some of the props in charity shops or go and get a table that we need from an antiques place or a flea market, what if we can't find it? Are we able to perform without that ideal piece of prop material? Costumes similar? Is everything right? Is everything okay? What happens if something breaks? What do we do in that case? Have we got a toolkit with us? What happens if you've got your show on a laptop and the laptop crashes? Is everything backed up? If you're relying on a particular program to run your lighting, your sound, your images that might be projecting in the background, is it all working? Is there an error message? Does it run? Does it run on more than one laptop? Are speakers okay? Do they work? Are they going to be big enough in the venue that you're playing in? Does the venue have speakers that you can use? Have you got all the right plugs? What happens if a plug breaks or a connector? All of that stuff is really, really key. And these are all the things that you need to think about now. Actually, as I'm recording this, this is 10 days out from the start of Edinburgh Fringe, and that's when you ought to be doing this. It's not a negative thing to do to imagine what goes wrong. It's the most positive thing you probably can.